With the voting done and the unanimous decision being made to move the venue to Messamore's Pond, Jay was determined to pick the next commands carefully. Next destination, Messamore's Pond. Jay held Leon by the ears. Not to threaten or to maim, but to assure himself that he had Leon's full attention. Leon, I want you to listen to me really good. This trip down to the pond is going to be very tricky, and I need you to focus really hard on the box and how we get it to move. You understand, Leon? Leon pondered these words without any visible response. Leon! Jay almost yelled. He had to know that Leon was up to the task. Like a dark cloud breaking to let in the sun, Leon's face finally began to report a clearer solution now forming in his mind. As Leon spoke, I can do it, Jay. Jay, I can do it. Mentoring his younger brothers was not a new concept to Jay. Mentoring someone outside the family was definitely new territory. Jay released Leon from his grasp and gave him a tentative pat on the back before giving a set of instructions to him to pass on to the box. Leon, said Jay, I think we should take it slow at first so we can get an idea of how to control the box. Let's try 2 instructions at a time. After that, maybe we can try 3 or maybe more. Okay, Jay, tell me what to start with, said Leon. With that, Jay set the bar low with 2 simple instructions. Jay said, say to the box, rise up 6 inches from the floor and stop. You got it, Leon? Leon nodded, his understanding to Jay, turned toward the box, and with a remarkably steady voice, he cautiously relayed verbatim Jay's intentions for the box, and the box responded. This time, there was no rumble, no flashing lights, no ceremony, just a very large wooden shipping crate rising up with total disregard for the law of gravity. As directed, the box maintained its position just 6 inches from the chicken house floor. Okay, Leon, tell it to move to the chicken house door and stop. But before you say it, make sure you are out of the door before it gets there, because we don't want you to get blocked in. Okay, Jay, said Leon. Leon headed for the door. Too much time had passed before Leon was ready to relay the next instruction. Over his shoulder, he said, Box, come over here. Seeing his mistake, Leon said, Box, come toward me. No, wait, follow me. Oh, no. Before Jay could repeat the instruction, Leon had reached the door, and the box followed on his heels. Wes and Wayne had tried to keep up with the things that were going on in the chicken house. That wasn't so easy. The chickens had been rather quiet up till then. Now they were in full throttle mode, having begun their morning clucking conversations. Wes and Wayne made out a little of Jay and Leon's interaction along the way, but they were surprised when Leon came toward them with the box following close behind. Wes and Wayne looked at each other questioningly, each expecting the other to know what was going on. Neither face presented an answer. Their collective response was random at best. Wayne was the most fleet of foot in a sprint race. He turned on his heels intending to make dust bubbles, which he did. Wes's reaction to both the happenings inside and the sudden lightning-fast departure of his little brother Wayne outside was simple: run. Turning to effect his getaway, Wes uttered one word that sounded somewhere between gack and lee. Wayne was fast, but Wes found fear to be a most effective motivator. He was only seconds behind Wayne as they reached the other side of the gravel road, some 20 yards from the chicken house door. They turned to see what was going to happen next. Even before they reached their place of safety across the road, Leon was making his cautious exit from the chicken house. Having botched the proven process of Jay to Leon and Leon to box instructions, Leon began to plead with Jay on what to say next. Jay, what now? Tell me what to do, said Leon. Jay responded quickly, but not before the box bumped into Leon and knocked him on the ground just outside the chicken house door. Jay's words lingered in Leon's head and eventually reached his mouth. "Stop, Box, stop," said Leon. The box stopped. Leon's timing was such that the box stopped just about an inch or so above his body. It hovered there with a peculiar sound emanating from within, a low machine-like humming sound, oscillating in time with a slight up and down floating on air motion of the box. It was though it was struggling, if only slightly, to maintain a safe distance above Leon. The box was waiting for more input. Wes and Wayne waited silently from the safety of the other side of the gravel road. They maintained a constant vigilance with eyes fixed on the chicken house doorway. They were ready to move even further away if time needed. They saw Leon emerge through the doorway. They saw the box coming out behind him. They heard him say, "Stop, Box, stop." They saw the box bump in onto the ground and then hover like a magic carpet over the helpless, hapless Leon. They chose not to run. Jay squeezed out of the box of the chicken house behind the box to find Leon laying on the ground. The box was covering him. Across the road, Jay saw his two brothers who had set up a new sentry post from where to guard the premises. Jay yelled at Wes and Wayne, "Come back over here, you two!" Then to Leon, "Crawl out from underneath that box and quit horsing around, Leon." As the brothers made their way back to the chicken house, Leon righted himself and began the unproductive task of dusting off the most recent layer of dirt and grime on his breeches. Once again, the team was in a huddle. Accusations were exchanged and various degrees of blame were laid. Jay ended the discussion by saying, "Enough. We're all in this together, so we can all claim ownership of whatever happens, good or bad." With that, the discussion turned back to Messamore's pond. Jay continued, "Leon, you must take care to repeat my commands to the box exactly as I say them, even if you don't understand why I'm saying them." Leon nodded in agreement, mostly to the part where he probably wouldn't understand. "Wes and Wayne, I think you two will be the best at running interference for us." Wes said, "What's that mean, Jay?" Jay said, "It means you two go a little ahead of us and to the sides of us and watch out for anyone that might give us any trouble. Always stay within eyesight of us and the box. If you see someone, you come quietly and quickly back to where you are to let us know. Does that explain it okay?" Wes said he got it. "Okay, I figure here is the overall plan to get us there," said Jay. He was beginning to sound like a general laying out another big battle plan. "We'll go around behind the chicken house, pass by the dog pen, move on to the first barbed wire and stop. We'll need to figure out then what's the best way to get past the fence. If it works okay, we can do it again at the second fence." The time had come to strike out toward the pond. Jay began with the first instruction to Leon, who dutifully passed it on to the box. As Jay had outlined, they moved in unison, the box included, to a position behind the chicken house. Another instruction followed, and they were soon alongside the dog pen. Buck, the hand-biting dog, growled menacingly as the group came to rest in a position that was seen by Buck as an obvious breach of territorial etiquette. Buck continued his snarl and best low grumbling guttural growl. The box was not impressed and returned a message to Buck as it rumbled and shook and vibrated fiercely. It suddenly stopped and in doing so emitted a thunderous cracking sound, not unlike the report of a bullwhip. Buck was impressed so much that he literally turned tail and ran. Wes could not have enjoyed that moment any more. Oddly, the box's rebuff of Buck's did not startle or scare Wes in the least. He was too deeply dipped in the sweet waters of revenge to have been bothered by its source. Buck peered around the corner of his doghouse and remained there until the boys moved on. Things were going pretty smooth when with the box transport. They made it along the dog pen and were well on the way across the field behind it. The first real physical hurdle lay straight ahead. In sight was the first of two three-strand barbed wire fences that served to contain the Messamore cattle. The proper negotiation of this barrier was a need well recognized by all in the group, but no one yet had offered a solution. Leon continued to occasionally repeat the command given by Jay. "Keep following me, Box. Just keep following me." The box did just that. "What are we going to do when we get to the fence?" asked Leon. "Don't know yet. Probably just tell the box to rise, stop, move forward, then lower to the ground. We'll see when we get there." Wes and Wayne, as ordered, had advanced ahead of Jay, Leon, and the box. They had nothing to report so far relative to any intruders or anything. When they reached the fence, they studied it for the most forgiving of places regarding ease of passage. They found one spot where the fence posts were further separated than the others. This would allow the wire to be parted farther above and below them, and they leaned over enough to crawl through. As fortune would have it, one of the posts had a missing staple, making it even easier to pass through. They should have already known about this spot, but one of many times they've made this trip to the pond, not once were they accompanied by a very large wooden box. They stood at each post and waited for Jay and Leon and the box to catch up.